Well, we've got a couple of people logged in, so we're just going to wait a bit longer. Thank you for joining us. We're going to just wait a few more minutes for some more people to log in, as I see, that they are coming through, and then we will begin. We'll just wait a couple more, probably another minute, and then we'll get going. Right, I think we should get started now. People can log in as we go. To those of you who have joined us, thank you very much. Welcome to the SMAS Worksafe hosted webinar, Go Digital. My name is Trish Mayer, and I've been with SMAS for over 2 years. As the partnership manager, I work with specialist memberships, associations, and health and safety consultancies all across the UK and across all sectors. SMAS Worksafe partner, Safetyculture, is a global technology company that supports businesses to do their best work every day. Our collective vision and aspiration is for all SMAS Worksafe members to be empowered through mobile-first technology to drive safer, more productive and efficient workplaces. If you should think of any questions during the presentation, please feel free to ask them in the chat box. At the end of the presentations, we will go through the questions. Today, our presenters are Millie Wallace, Elena Coco, and Olivia Langley. Millie is the EMEA product lead for Safetyculture and the mobile-first micro-learning platform, EdApp. Since graduating from the University of Manchester with a Master's in History in 2015, she has been supporting global organizations with human capital development and digital transformation platforms, which embedded in a more productive and safer working environment. Millie is a micro-learning evangelist who believes we can unlock the real power of our workforce with mobile device technology, and she will be discussing the features of EdApp. Elena is a senior customer success manager for EMEA and a self-declared auditor enthusiast. After completing her master's degree in anthropology, she started working in the tech industry, gaining several years of experience working with international organizations on their digital transformation journey. Elena will take you through the features of Auditor. Liv, or I call Liv, Olivia, is the partnership manager at Safetyculture, and she leads 2 partnerships channels with trade associations and consultancies. Olivia will give you an introduction to safety culture and the partnership with SMAS. I will now hand you over to our presenters.
Thank you, Trish. Hello, everyone, and yes, welcome to this SMAS Worksafe and Safetyculture webinar. The next 30 minutes will all be about how SMAS and Safetyculture have partnered to enable members to digitalise health and safety in the workplace. So yes, as Trish said, I'm Olivia. I'm the Partnerships Manager here at Safetyculture. I lead two partnership channels, one with trade associations and another with consultancies. And through these partnerships, we empower members and customers across an industry to improve safety, quality and efficiency in the workplace every day. Safetyculture is a global technology company, and we've been working with SMAS to raise health and safety standards. Now, we've all seen so many changes in the working environment and health and safety over the last year. So to take on this change, we really need to innovate. And we can do this by digitalising our checks and training and create real-time visibility and build cultures of continuous improvement. So Safetyculture's collective vision and aspiration is for all SMAS Worksafe members to be empowered through Iodite and EDAP, essentially helping you drive safer and more productive and efficient workplaces. So I appreciate this is going to be a fairly quick overview of Iodite and EDAP. So throughout this event, we'll post some calendar links should you wish to book an appointment with any of the speakers today, including myself. So I will now hand you over to Eleanor, who will take you through a demo of Iodite.
Hello, everybody. It's great meeting you. And as Liv mentioned, we're going to go through a very quick overview of Iodite. You've already heard my introduction, so you know that I do love the app. And when I talk about Iodite, I love to see it as one component of the Safetyculture ecosystem. Now, what is Iodite and what it does in a nutshell? We will see it in action in a second. I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you precisely how you can expect to see it operating on your devices. But Iodite essentially is a tool that allows you to obtain, capture real good data. And this is the main thing about digitalization and digital journeys, right? We want to get information and we want to do something with it. So remember that there are two main components when we talk about this digital journey using Iodite. One is designed to make the life of people providing you this information absolutely easy. So the first thing that we're going to see is how Iodite performs when you install the app on your device. Everybody has a mobile device nowadays, whether it's a tablet or a phone. So Iodite is available to you on both Android and iOS devices. What I will do now, I'll start sharing my screen and we will go right away into seeing Iodite in action, in this case on my iPad. So this is my iPad. I've already installed the app, logged in with my information, and when I tap on Iodite, I'm presented with a main page that tells me what I have to do for the day. So remember when I said we make the experience of people collecting data absolutely easy. So in this page, you can see everything that you need to do. And what we normally start doing is asking questions, and in this case, answering those questions in the form of checklist. If I navigate to my inspection tab, I have the list of checklists available to me. Again, I might belong to a small team or a big one, so we have the option to actually decide what checklist can be made available to each member of the team. And starting data collection, as much as this sounds daunting, is very simple. All you need to do is select the inspection, or in this case, the form that you want to use, tap Start Inspection, and then you can simply start answering the questions that you see on screen. Now, what's the benefit compared to using pen and paper? First of all, is quite fun to tap around, but also, as you can see, some fields are pre-populated. The app captures automatically information such as the location, the date and time, but also the name of the person doing the inspection. Don't forget that I've done login, so I'm already providing all this information in an automated way. And As I scroll down, I can select my responses, and notice how I'm picking from a list. All of these things can be absolutely customized in the moment that you create your checklist. I'm going to show you in a second how you can do it. So what does it mean? It means that every time that you create a form or you convert one of your existing paper form into a digital format, you are providing your team with the ability of giving you good information. First of all, if you are familiar with using, for example, Excel, you know that consistency is the key. So by having good responses, you can always rest assured that you can filter and find this data later on, but also get good analytics. Remember this keyword, and we'll see in a moment why. As I scroll down, I'm capturing information here. So for example, the temperature today, which is quite good if you ask me in Manchester. But see also what happens whenever I select a response. My responses are visible to me, and something really cool is happening here. See here now, I'm in site safety inspection. This is a portion of my check. So I do have the ability of integrating multiple different type of checks into one form. And if I expand my site safety, the first question is around first aid facility. So as you can see, I'm digging even deeper in any sort of check. Now, today, the event is dedicated to show you how we can improve our digital journey in the health and safety space. However, any form, if you think about it, could be converted into a digital form. And sometimes the questions that you ask when checking or when investigating about health and safety could lead to something else. The key word here is gathering meaningful data. So let me tell you something else about the data that you can collect. See that question on screen, the one that says first aid facilities? Now, the first question is, are first aid facilities to be inspected? If I say yes, then more questions will show up. I can decide when a question is triggered how deep I want to dig. But also, if I say no, look what happened. The facility edge should always be inspected. So I do also have the ability, when I build my own custom forms into Iodite, to give some guidance. At the same time, imagine somebody is on site. Their job is to go around and gather that information, but also they could receive something back by understanding how a certain process could be or should be performed. So if I'm inspecting, I'll give an example. Our first aid cabinets and contents clean and orderly. If I say no, well, look what happens here. I'm collecting information, but I want to add context, and the context can be added in the form of notes. There we go. And can you see the note is now showing immediately below my response? But also, I can proceed without adding some media, so some evidence. And how do I do it? Simply by tapping on media, selecting one of the options. The camera is a very handy one. Now, this is my workstation. So immediately I can capture a photo and even annotate it. So I can rest assured that everything that I'm adding is absolutely relevant. There we go. So in a few seconds, I've captured the information, added the context, and provided some evidence. This is the main benefit of having a digital support, but it doesn't end here. So now that we have the data, we can decide what happened next. The following steps are, of course, continuing, scrolling down my my inspection. But let's assume for a second that I'm happy and I've completed it. So I'm going to navigate to my final page, mark my inspection as completed, save it, and if I want to review it, I can. It's simply here in my list. But let's assume for a second that I want to review my inspection or continue it. And remember earlier on, the cabinets weren't in order. And what happens if I know, for example, somebody that can help? Well, what I can do is generate an action and tell someone that, for example, there is a cabinet that needs to be put in order. Now, actions is a very interesting feature in Iodite and can be seen or can be used in the menu at the bottom. We have different features and functionalities within Iodite, and the main concept, the key concept to remember here is, as a tool installed on a mobile device, the main job of this app is to provide good information. However, you can dictate what type of information you want to see, as mentioned earlier on, by asking the right questions, converting your forms. Ideally, you want to manage your team, and to do so, you also have access to your dashboard, which is a control panel, if you wish, and is designed to help all those people that have an admin role, for example, or they might need to coordinate some activities, and their experience is made better because it happens on the web. So let's leave for a second the experience on mobile. Of course, I'll be happy to answer more questions later on. And let me show you what happened when you log in Iodite on the web. The login is the same. Everybody has access to both experiences. However, if you're a coordinator, an admin, a manager, you will spend most of your time here. The features are exactly the same, with a few added abilities and capabilities. First of all, you will have the ability of create new forms. Any checklist can be digitized. The examples are not limited to health and safety. They could be safety checks, but also cleaning, but also quality, but also compliance. Some companies use it to then gather information to, for example, have assessment on ISO documentation. So anything that requires collecting information can be converted into a digital form. And in addition to the ability of creating a new template, which is a very easy process, made even easier by the machine learning and the artificial intelligence that allows you to upload an existing document and get a digital version. For today purposes and demonstration, I won't go too much into how you can create a template. Just so you know, when you upload a form, the text will show up, and then we can apply the intelligence that I showed you earlier on how to display, hide, question, create a really powerful data collection tool. But also, once you've collected all that information, you have a tab here called Analytics that does exactly what it says. It provides you with a series of pre-made reports that enables you to always have a pulse of what's happening or to dig deeper on the issues. And the way they work, they are designed to answer the three main questions that it doesn't matter what type of job or what type of activities you're conducting, you always want to have an answer to three main questions. What are we doing? So what's going on? How are we doing? And what do I need to focus my attention and my energies on? So in this case, you will know who's doing your checks and what is going not necessarily well. Remember earlier on, we needed to check a cabinet, and that was identified as an attention point, right? A flagged item. So analytics will give you that overview. As you can see, the two experiences are very different. However, the main concept is with the Iodite app, as part of the Safetyculture environment, you can collect meaningful data. Once you move the attention from the front line or from the people that are actually on site or where the actions happen, then you can review the data that they've collected and make informed decisions. I would say that for a generic overview, this is what Iodite does in a nutshell. Of course, we will be happy to run more detailed demos with you to answer any questions. So we will share our contacts during this webinar. And for now, I'm gonna thank you all for your attention and end my screen sharing. And I'll let my colleague Millie take it away.
Thank you, Eleanor. And now we're going to move over to a little bit of a different side of safety culture. So as Trish mentions, my role here is I lead up our mobile learning platform, EDAP, within the European, Middle Eastern and African region. It's pretty big, but lots of people to go out and democratize learning with. Before I go in and take you around the application and show you the power of what EDAP can do, I thought it would be best to recap at this point around what we're here for as safety culture and organisation. So yes, we are here to help organisations achieve higher quality workplaces and safer environments. But the reality is we are designed to support every worker have their best working day. And when we really take that in, I probably don't need to tell the audience today that training is the core part of all of that. 100% of us are going to require at least one form of training in our career with an organisation. So whether that's the induction that you have on day one, maybe it's a little bit of a dry GDPR session, or the actual skills to do the job at hand. In order for us to achieve this higher quality workspace that's safe and ensuring that every worker can go home at the end of the day, we need to have that training. So as you've seen with Iodite, we are a company that invests very much in providing low-cost technology to everybody that we can touch around the world. And with our learning app, EDAP, we've designed a very user-friendly platform that puts targeted micro-training into workers' hands anytime, anywhere. And micro-training isn't potentially what you think it would be. When I used to work in L&D consultancy, we considered micro-training as 30 minutes. In reality, with the modern attention span, which is dropping very rapidly down, it's currently reporting at 94 seconds. Micro-training is 2 to 5 minutes of training time. We've only got 24 minutes a week on average to do any learning. So we need to make that really impactful and be able to blend into modern lifestyles that are pretty much non-stop. And we're all glued to our phones, scrolling half a mile a day. So let's use our phones and learn more to have a safer day. And using EDAP across all industries, across the entirety of the globe, we've seen a massive improvement in behaviours because we've changed the idea of training being once a year or a point in time, and you go away from being in a classroom for 3 days on end to knowing everything, which in reality is only 10% of what you take away. And we build this into being a daily task, just a daily snippets of information that keeps building into your subconsciousness. And overall, for organizations of any size, that helps them reduce their business risk. Because when we take training to be small micro chunks, it means if you take on a task that maybe you don't do so frequently or it's relatively new, you can quickly refresh yourself with that phone that you're pretty much glued to anyway. And overall, this has massively reduced operational downtime because we're not having to take people away and put them in classrooms or training centres. And we can be proactive, go and prevent the events from happening rather than be reactive and do training after an event has happened. We can train before that to ensure that no event happens in the future. So I'm just going to try and switch over to share my screen now. If Eleanor, if you wouldn't mind just stop sharing your screen. Thank you very much. I'm going to head over to my mobile phone. So good for me to mention is both EDAP and Iodite are available on mobile and tablet, and that's Android and iOS. Now we actually support quite old operating systems, and that's because the sheer fact that more people in the world have access to a 4G enabled device, they do have access to a toilet. So this shows a real power of going mobile across the world, is we can impact more people's lives, give more people access to high quality training. Now, if I open up EDAP, I do have the opportunity within this application to fully customize my splash screen when I come in. So for my organisation, I immerse my workers into my learning culture and ensure that they are in the right place and building on their skill set with their company. Now, as I come in as a learner, I'm hit straight away with a home screen of all of my training. We don't want to create a black hole. We want to make it super simple and really focused on that training element. So if they are in a precarious position, all they've got to do is open up that app and it's easy to find the training that they need to get themselves out of that situation safely. At the top of any account, you can add in banners. So we've got a very obvious one here. I can't wait to retire this, roll on the 21st of June. But you can have up to 10 banners in your account. And because we see that people start coming into this application daily and we can see and monitor that access and engagement, we found that banners have been a great way of not just communicating pieces around training, but company-wide communication. So internally as Safetyculture, every week we launch new banners around current company changes, any new starters, any policy changes, because we know they're more likely to be seeing those than they are actually reading the emails that we send out. Now further down, if I scroll down the screen, I've got my courses. Now what I've done here is actually gone over to our free public library, and that's right, we have a free public library of over 600 courses, and I've downloaded some courses which I thought would be relevant for our audience today, focus a little bit more on safety in the workplace and especially in construction. And if I open up this one here, scaffold safety, I've got all of this course broken down into lessons, and these are the micro training pieces, short chapter snippets that I can access at any point in time. So if I'm looking at capacity, I can start this lesson and quickly access it. And this lesson is very short, it only has 9 slides. And the content here doesn't just have to be what you see right now on my screen of words and pictures. You can also embed videos, you can add narration, but the power really of EdApp is not just by going mobile with your content and delivering it in this format, but it's making your content engaging with our interactive and gamified options. And what we've got here is an interactive option of selecting the right answer, and I can earn stars. By rewarding learners out there on the front line with the ability to earn stars, compete in leaderboards, we have that ability to drive engagement and ultimately change their relationship to training. Now, if I quickly hit in the top corner, I do have a menu area as a learner, and this has been really useful for a lot of people out there in the field working in dispersed teams. Because under the Performance tab, they have the ability to see the courses that they've completed and when they've completed them. This enables them that whereby they're going on to a new site and they might need to show that they've done permit to work training, to quickly pull out their phone, show their scoring and the courses that they've completed, when they last did them, and have that ready in their pocket. They could do it before they even got onto the site, and they would actually be super fresh, ready to go. Also in this area, we have our achievements piece, which builds on this idea of gamification. Now, we know over the past year and a half of COVID that we've all become a little bit more mobile friendly and focusing on using our phones for games and interacting with our friends and family. So having these badges link into how people are currently using their phones to entertain themselves in their free time. But the other thing in which we can ensure that we bring people into continuously learning is our options for repetition-based learning, whereby using our AI features, you can actually draw learners in through push notifications on a daily basis that brings them into what we call a brain boost. And this is essentially an automated flashcard system, whereby once they've done some of those courses with interactive slides, testing their answers, they have this automated option to test them on a daily basis. And this has been powerful for organizations across the world to keep people's knowledge at the forefront and tip top. Now, what I'm going to do right now is show you where the real magic happens, and that's over on our LMS platform, which you can access from edapp.com. As I mentioned when I went through on my phone, we have a free content library. Now, this content library has over 600 courses in it. We continuously add training to it. There's training that's focused on people management, safety, different industry and areas. And we also have some fantastic partners such as the UN, who are supporting our initiative to educate all and democratize learning by providing high quality free content to download. Now, this gives you a great launch pad, but we understand that a lot of organizations have some beautiful training content internally. And we've got two options here. We don't only provide you an option to go out and provide a vehicle for getting that training out there, but you can start creating content completely from scratch. Like you saw with the template creator that Eleanor showed you in Iodite, whereby you can go bespoke. It's the same with EdApp and training. We have a couple of tools here to point out. Our PowerPoint upload allows you to take those existing pieces of content that you might already have and quickly make them mobile friendly in EdApp with our immediate conversion. We also have something which is completely hot off the press and recently launched. It's our trade in your training option, whereby you can actually send over 5 courses and our instructional design team will build them for you and put them into an EdApp account. If I go for the immediate conversion, this is very simple and designed to have an easy user experience. So anybody that's ever seen a PowerPoint presentation will be able to design learning in EdApp. Now, what I'm going to do here is take a fire induction, which I borrowed from the University of Bristol, and upload this into EdApp straight away. And within a few seconds, it will convert my training content into an EdApp mobile-friendly lesson. And this is everything from my files into a mobile lesson. And what this done is brought me into the content creator and editor. Over on the left-hand side, I can see exactly what it's going to be like there, out the front line, working on your phone. I can click through the buttons. And this simple creator and being able to upload PowerPoints and review as you build has helped organizations reduce their training content build time by an average 6 weeks. Now, we all know how quickly the world changes in just 6 hours. So by reducing that time by 6 weeks, it means that we can keep delivering high quality, relevant training to the people on the front line that need it the most. Just to point out here in the bottom corner, I've got the ability to add different types of content within EdApp. It doesn't just have to be static content. We can add in YouTube videos or existing videos, and we can also add in multiple choice and concepts and ways of testing people. You don't need to know any fancy code. It's simply taking a template and uploading. Now, if we come out of our lesson editor, one thing I do want to point out today, because I think this is super powerful for the market that we have within the European region, and that is our built-in AI translator. This is the ability to use our AI translator to translate any training content that you've built into 119 different languages. Because when you're going out with health and safety or compliance-based training, or really any training, it's always best if it's in that person's native language, so it resonates better and it's easier to ingest. So by using this content creator and then the linked translations option, within a few seconds we can see our training content in a number of different languages and go out to the front line. And I'm going to be very honest here, I've got no idea what language I selected there, but it looks kind of fancy. And there we go, it's translated absolutely everything in those slides. The final thing to mention, and this is a whistle-stop tour, so if you want to know more, do reach out. But it's always good to point out, like Iodite, the key part is not just getting that content out there and getting people to do it. It's being able to see who's done it, when they've done it, how well they've done, and where the skills gaps are. And our built-in analytics allows you to do just that, with the ability to look at the engagement, so how frequently people are going into mobile learning, look at the performance of each course and against each learner and the completion times and rates. And we also have the ability to look at knowledge gaps and course progress as well. And for those of you that might come from an organization with an existing training system that doesn't have this mobile capability. NetApp sits as a great bolt-on to any of those because our open API allows you to automatically take all of this data out and put it into existing systems. Now, they could be HR systems, learning systems, or even Power BI. Anything really whereby you want to look at the data with other pieces of data that you might be collecting. And as we said, please do fill in the chat if you've got any questions, and we will be sending out invites as well. We'll leave some time now to go over to Q&A for those of you that are interested in having anything answered live.
Hi, Liv.
Hi, can you hear me?
Are you going to round off?
Yeah, absolutely. So understandably, that was a lot of information to take in a short space of time, but that does conclude the webinar today. I know Trish has added a SMAS landing page link into the chat section, and on this page you can register to use Iodite and NetApp for free. There's a lot of information on there that may be useful to you as a SMAS member, but if you would like to upgrade to premium on either of the platforms, then SMAS members will receive 10% off. So before you do go and enjoy the long weekend, has anybody got any questions for Eleanor or Millie?
Yeah, we do have one question, which is trying to see who it's from, but basically the question is, are the training accredited professional associations such as ROSPA or CPD?
It's a good question. So no, to provide free content and provide it universally accessible to all GOs and all organizations. We don't have any accreditations. We provide that real content and knowledge rather than trying to get a whole accreditation. There is the option whereby if you've bought e-learning from these organizations that you can host that on NetApp and then add in a compliance certificate as well for completion.
Okay, thank you. Sally, does that answer your question? Right, so as Liv said, I have included the link for the landing page as well as links for each of the three presenters if you would like to contact them. Thank you very much for attending our webinar. If you would like to recap on any of the slides, we will be sending you a link so that you can download your own copy of the presentation. If you have any other questions, please feel free to get in touch with us. Thank you very much, and I hope that you all have a lovely long weekend and your bank holiday on Monday. Thank you. Goodbye.